shadows fall, dimming the light. Whispers grow, a rising tide. Vindicator, where do you hide? Steel is over, heart ablaze. Through smoky haze, he sets his gaze. Justice calls a burning need. A city's wounds he vows to heed. From cobbled streets to tower high, Vindicator takes to the sky. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Whispers turn to thunderous roar. As shadows creep, he slams the door on tyranny's cruel, grasping hand. He fights for freedom, takes a stand. With courage born of darkest night, he ignites hope, a guiding light. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Though battles rage and darkness reigns, hope's ember burns within his veins. He'll never yield, he'll never fall. He answers freedom's clarion call. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. A symbol etched against the moon. Vindicator rising soon.
Can you hear me now? That's better. Yeah. Great. How's the audio? So everything's taking a bit longer today. I've got man flu. The kids have brought back the first of the winter bugs from school, so we're all suffering at the minute. So I apologise for that if things are a bit sluggish. I'm not working at full capacity today. I think I'm at probably 80% operational status. Hello, Vin, straight in from me. As a soldier in Iraq, they should listen to you. Yes, get out the ECR and strike. It's the only way. Love, God bless. Thank you for that, Sheila. Always comment on my videos. And I do read every single comment on my videos. It takes me some time, but I do read them all. And that's what the love heart is and the thumbs up. It doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with what you say in your comment. It just proves I've read your comment, because I think, you know, if you're going to come and leave a comment, the least I can do is actually come and read them all. Hi, looking forward to the conversation. Yeah, and we've got some interesting things to get into today. As you all know, the Vindicator Strikes Back Straight Talking stream is usually, it's just about, it saves me making videos about multiple videos about little stories that I could really just do in a live stream. So that's what this is about. It's about collecting all those stories together and then going through them with you guys on here live. That's what it's all about. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Let's have a look. Can get rid of that now. Only got up in a bit. Right. We've got some interesting things to get through today. Some we've already covered, but I want to go through them again. Just for some clarity on certain things. Just to document the absolute decline of this country and where we're going. Right, so first we'll cover this because this is just horrendous. No, right. So I'm going to play this video. So Christmas tractor convoy, which raises money for Children's Hospital, cancelled indefinitely over safety fears. And yet, as it says here, yet, this is Liverpool, I believe, but yet we can have the pro-Palestine marches and stuff like that. They can police those. Now, I would say there's more of a safety risk at those than there is at some Christmas charity event. But we'll go into the video. We'll actually watch it, and because it bears highlighting this stuff.
Bit of bad news for people of Liverpool. As you know, we get lights on these every Christmas and drive through the street. A lot of people are already asking what date it'll be. Sadly, there won't be one this year. Farmers are up for doing it, but we've not been able to have any support from the police in the last few years, and particularly the councils in the last year especially. It's not going to be possible to hold it.
This is what I mean with this country. Notting Hill Carnival, they can police that and the council will let that happen, even though they know the amount of trouble that it causes. The protests we see every single day are policed to the maximum. Not a problem. Children's Hospital at Christmas, no, we can't make that. I think the people of Liverpool need to be standing up and doing something about that. Another little swipe on farmers again. You know, at this Christmas, kids in hospital, put the lights on them, they do something nice off their own back. They pay for it, they cost it. No, can't police that. Not allowing that. Too many people, they're absolutely crazy, this country. I seen that last night, it made me feel really sad. That's where we're going, people. Won't be celebrating Christmas next.
He's not wrong, is he? What do you all think about that? That actually made my blood boil, that, because given the fact that we have all these pro-Palestine marches, and like he said, they're policed to the hilt, to the maximum for safety, yet they can't spare a few officers to patrol. It's not even an event that would cause any risk, really. It's just for kids, isn't it? And they can't even do it. And like you said, it's a swipe against farmers because farmers, the communists don't like the farmers. So anything they organise, they'll just dismiss and shut it down. And obviously, Christmas being a Christian celebration, they don't want to celebrate that either because of the slow Islamification of this country. Talking of that, we're going to go and speak to, well, not going to speak to her. We're going to watch a video, an interview that Katie Hopkins did, because that's interesting too. We're going to get to her in a minute. But this is interesting. So this is from 5 Pillars. 5 Pillars posted this. We're going to get into what they said in a minute. But let's just hear what Katie's going to say about things.
And demographically, because we are already overrun, power sits with the Muslim religion, power sits with Muslim leaders.
Are you done?
And the government.
Is the nation done?
You know, I'll never say we're done because we're still here fighting. I believe there will come a time not too far from now when the British people, true British people, will have to make very difficult choices. Either they will flee eastwards to Eastern Europe with our much more stronger Christian neighbours, Poland, Hungary, those countries, or they will seek asylum, flee, try to come to America, or they will stand their ground. But certainly the time of the Crusades will need to come again if we are to return.
What do you mean by that?
We are overrun in every way, in every sense. Demographically, all births, Muslim births, outnumber births to every and all other religion. This is no commentary on anyone's religion. This is just pure fact. our mayors who control funding in our capital cities are Muslim. Mosques are not churches. A mosque is being built at the outermost, tippy-most end of Scotland and at the furthermost reaches at the end of the other side of our tiny country. This is about a takeover. And of course, America understands, because you have Minneapolis, because you have Dearborn, Michigan, and I see it all the time.
So that was 5 pillars. They're saying, oh no, they're always playing the victim. 5 pillars is obviously a, well, say here, look, UK-based news site covering current affairs related to Islam and Muslims. So it's a propaganda site. 5 pillars is a propaganda site for Muslim, for the Muslim agenda. And let's go and see what they've actually said about this. I'll look at the chat first, then we'll go into that. Safety will be the death result. Vid audio is great. I hope you and your family get. Thank you. Blimey, did that poor guy fall asleep on the beach with his sunnies on? Laugh out loud. The word governance comes from the Greek meaning and the Latin verb, which means to steer. Etymology of government, yes. Exactly, Steve. That's exactly what they are. Right, so let's get into what 5 pillars made of Katie's statement, shall we? What they actually said about this. Don't forget, this is pure propaganda, by the way. So this is what they had to say. Can you all see that? I'll just enlarge that a little bit. There we go. That better. That's it. Right. Speaking on an American podcast, the notorious Islamophobe, obviously they've got to use the made-up word in the first sentence. That means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nonsense word. Katie Hopkins called for a crusade against Muslims in the UK. The Crusades were a series of brutal European invasions into Islamic, and I know a lot of you are going to be thinking, oh, what are they talking about? That's not what. Don't worry, I'm going to get into it in a minute. The Crusades were a series of brutal European invasions into Islamic Levant, what the hell that is, Levant, which was driven by Christian zeal and imperial ambition. Hundreds of thousands of Muslims were massacred under the guise of reclaiming the Holy Land. Under the guise of reclaiming the Holy Land. Right, so let's go and take a look at this, shall we? Right, so the Christian Crusades were driven by a combination of religious fervour, political ambition, and social factors, primarily aimed at reclaiming the Holy Land from Muslim control. Now, this is a little bit propagandist in its own right as well, and the fact that the way they've set this out, shall we say? Right, so key causes of the Crusades. 1, religious motivation. The primary driver behind the Crusades was the desire to reclaim Jerusalem and other holy sites from Muslim control. We'll get to that in a minute. The Catholic Church under Pope Urban II called for the First Crusade in 1095, promising spiritual rewards such as indulgences to those who participated. I'm sorry, my mind is foggy. I apologise. I'm not pronouncing things right today. I'm just not with it. The appeal to faith galvanised thousands of Europeans to take up arms in what they viewed as a holy war. Political and so all these 2 reasons, the first 2 reasons, are to sully the real reason. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's to kind of soften the blow of the real reason. This is like an agenda. Oh, they did it because they were imperialistic. They did it because they were ambitious and they were territory hungry. It's not the real reason. It's one of the reasons, but it's not the real reason. European monarchs and nobles saw the Crusades as an opportunity to expand their territories and increase their power. The Byzantine Empire threatened by Muslim expansion. Now, that's a key word. These are key words, isn't it? So, Christian nations were threatened by Muslim expansion. That's the number 1 reason why the Crusades happened, because the Muslims were expanding their territory unchallenged at this point. And at some point, Christian nations, they all came together and said, right, that's it. They've gone far enough. It's time to push back against this. So here we have the third reason. This should be number 1, really, as to why the Crusades took place. Response to Islamic expansion. The Crusades were also a reaction to centuries of Muslim conquest that had expanded Islamic territories into Europe. These are mainly Christian nations. So the Crusades were a response to invasion. Let's get that straight, yeah? The rapid spread of Islam since the 7th century created a sense of urgency among Christians to defend their faith and territories from perceived threats. So the first two reasons there are just to make you believe, oh, they were just greedy and wanted an empire. No, it was a response to centuries of Christian subjugation under Muslim rule, and they said, "Now we've had enough of this. We're going to push back." Especially when they started to invade Europe, it's like now it's time to push back against this. So this is somewhat in itself is propaganda, and so is the 5 pillars piece. But as we all know, there's their side, there's your side, and somewhere in the middle there is the truth, and that's very much the case with this. We'll see what the chat is doing. Hi, how you doing? Is Holy Land, right? Okay. That was under the control of the Eastern Orthodox before Levant was invaded from South Arabia. Except the invasion of Spain, Europe wasn't threatened until the 10th. See into Bulgaria, Romania, etc. Yeah. It's not your fault. Thank you for all your awesome work. Keep up. Yeah, thank you. Right, so we'll take a look at this as well, because this is interesting too. So that was 5 pillars. So just to put it into perspective, right, here we have, this is from Uncensored Patriots. He says, Old Bull are refusing to arrest a Nottingham imam after he called for Muslims in the UK and other white nations to take up arms in jihad. Direct incitement of violence. So let's hear what this guy's got to say, shall we?
What is jihad? Jihad is really removing oppression. Wherever there may be oppression, what people like Tommy Robinson have to realize is that Muslims do not want to be wiped out like the Aborigines in Australia. Muslims do not want to be wiped out like...
No, Muslims, this is basically the ultra-conservative Wahhabi Islam that I was talking about in my video the other day. So these people are most likely Sunni Muslims, ultra-conservative. And the ironic thing is, right, they talk about they don't want to be wiped out, but they have no issues with wiping out the people of this country to get their caliphate, to get their Islamic caliphate and install Islamic rule. They've got no issues with doing that.
Like the Maori in New Zealand, where the white man wiped out the Maori in New Zealand. The white man, he carried out massacres and genocide against the Aborigines.
Yeah, and so did the Ottoman Empire carried out, still doing it today. There are still Muslim slave traders today in Africa. The Arabian, Arabic, ivory slave trade never ended. It carried on going. So you've literally got no ground to stand on. I know this because I freed slaves in Iraq as part of some off-the-book operations that we did over there. So I know how these people operate. I know what they're capable of.
In Australia, the white man carried out these massacres and genocide in Canada. He carried out these genocides in the United
So let's talk about present-day massacres, you know, like the Christians in Africa that are being wiped out at the minute by Muslims. The genocide that's going on. Don't mention that because that's inconvenient to the narrative. These people always want to portray themselves as the victim, as a victim of aggression, whilst enacting that same aggression against others themselves.
United States of America, and he attempts to carry out these genocides today in Gaza. But the Deen of Islam has legislated jihad, that wherever anyone attempts to carry out genocide, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the Muslims.
So basically, anywhere a native population attempts to stand up against Islamic invasion, engage in holy war against them. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. If Islam gets pushed back, then enter into holy war against the people doing the pushback. That's what he's saying, directly inciting violence.
Muslims do not permit them to carry out genocide. Take up arms and defend yourself, and do preemptive strikes wherever those...
Listen to that, preemptive strikes. So before they've even been attacked, this guy is calling for preemptive attacks against people. And the police say no action will be taken against this guy. Yet you've got people in prison for 2.5 years for social media posts. This is directly inciting violence. This guy has a lot of influence. He's an imam. He's a religious leader. And these people all listen to him, as does the greater Muslim audience or community. They listen to him. He's a man of respect. He has responsibility. He should be careful with the words that he chooses to speak. But they don't care, because they know there will be no pushback against them. Because he knows if the police attempt to go in there and arrest him, all these people will kick off in a riot. There will be riots up and down the country. So that's why these people are allowed to get away with directly inciting violence in this country.
Preemptive strikes, which is offensive jihad, is needed.
So, absolute maniac there. That was obviously the mosque that was supposedly set on fire, which is basically okay. It's just a car that was burnt. We all know what that is about, don't we? It's got nothing to do with burning the mosque down. It's an insurance job. But there you go. Right, this is the important part. This is what I want to talk about. Breaking report warns of Islamic clan influence in Britain. Really? Now, has anybody been warning about this for decades? Like, yeah, there's a real issue with Islam. It's starting to take over our institutions, and it's a real threat to our way of life in this country. But we were just labelled as Islamophobes or crazy people, tinfoil hat-wearing lunatics, because we warned of this decades ago. Well, now, a new report titled Sharia Question from the Women's Policy Centre claims that Muslim clans are seeking to control parts of Britain politically. No, you don't say. Really? That's new to me. It's interesting that people are now saying this. This isn't conspiracy theory anymore when institutions like this are starting to notice it. Are seeking to control parts of Britain politically and territorially by building concentrated settlements. Now, there is another word for that. They're being very careful with their words here. So what would we call this? What other word would we call this? So to control Britain politically and territorially by building concentrated settlements. Some people might call that colonization, wouldn't they? The colonization of this country. Look at some more. Right. It describes an emerging system of parallel communities. They don't integrate. We know this. They set up their own communities. They move in. They set up. They have their own little colonies with their own legal system, their own laws. Warns of growing Sharia influence in local governance. Well, it will do. When you have a majority Muslim council, like you have in Rotherham, then yeah, the Islamic laws are going to creep in there. I mean, how many councils now have been completely taken over by Muslims that now have Muslim prayer at the beginning of each session of council? Calls for urgent action to protect British law and values. This is the conversation our leaders refuse to have. Britain is changing fast, and silence is no longer an option. This isn't just happening now, though. This has been happening for absolutely decades. Myself and others were warning about this years ago, but we were just called Islamophobes, racists, xenophobes, conspiracy theorists. But now it's actually happening. People are starting to notice, say, there's something going on here. So look at the chat. What is hate speech? What's hate speech? So I'm just checking out some of the comments, guys. Hello, how you doing? Yes, if X bans anything, it should be 5 pillar, not banning me. Yeah, exactly. Totally agree with you there, Steve. Just saying, why is there no reports of Christian genocide that is going on in Africa at the moment? Because it's not convenient. That's not convenient to the narrative. That would make our leaders have to acknowledge that there's something wrong within Islam and Islamists, wouldn't it? They'd have to acknowledge that it's a threat, and they can't do that because they don't want to. Yeah, totally. But will go unpunished because they feel what would happen if they did go in there and arrest him. Let's have a look at what would happen, right? The police wouldn't simply go in there and arrest him. They would have to have meetings with community leaders before they went in there to make an arrest. Now, for you or I, they don't have to do that. They can just come to your house and arrest you straight away. If I'd have said something like that online, I'd have had a knock at the door straight away. Like I said, we live in a two-tier system. This regime doesn't want to offend Muslims. So they're allowed to say whatever they like. They're allowed to go on their hate marches and say whatever they like. They're allowed to chant. They've been allowed to chant for months genocidal slogans. You or I said anything like that. We've had instances of people being arrested for chanting Allah, Allah, who the F is Allah. Nothing's ever done to these people. I've seen at protests, at these pro-Palestine protests, I've seen Hezbollah flags. I've seen ISIS flags. I've seen Hamas flags. But our police aren't clued up on Arabic. They don't understand what these flags actually mean. So it goes unchallenged, unchecked. And I think even if they did know, they most likely wouldn't do anything about it for fear of offending somebody. I've still got some more of the chat. Even in the Middle East have been warning Britain of this. Yeah, I was watching a video. I can't play it on it because I might get copyrighted. I'll actually go and try and find it if I can. But it was a guy from the United Arab Emirates, and he was saying, "What are you doing? Why are you allowing the Muslim Brotherhood to operate in your country? They've banned them. The United Arab Emirates is a Muslim country, and they've banned the Muslim Brotherhood because they're extremists. They kicked them out." So what's happened is all these Muslim countries, they've turfed out all their extremists, and they've come here, and like he was saying in the interview, they've played on our tolerance. They've played on our liberal tolerance to insert themselves into our society. And then they started making demands. And because of loony lefty liberals, they give them whatever they want. They don't challenge their demands like they would in their own countries. This is why they've left. This is why they've left Muslim countries, because they know they will be told to do one in Muslim countries. Say, well, no way. You don't get your own way. This is why Muslim countries around Gaza won't accept refugees from Palestine, because every time these people come into their countries, they cause trouble. They either try to overtake the government or they become terrorists. So the Middle Eastern countries know full well what the issue is, and they've been warning us. They've been saying, "What are you doing? The reason you've got all these jihadist attacks in your country is because you've let in the extremists." 30 Christians recently beheaded in Mozambique. Yeah, goes unnoticed though, doesn't it? And what's happening to Hindus? I think the hands of their own. I can't remember where, but it was. Nothing ever does. Never gets mentioned. In Kurdistan, they attacked at night and people fled from the north, I think south, to make a stand. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Thanks for that. But yeah, I was watching it. It was very interesting. What gets me is they are allowed to call us Nazi, racist scum. But when we said that to them, it's prison time for us. Exactly. But it's two-tier. They're constantly protecting the lefties, aren't they? All the time. Right, we'll try and click on this. Right. for some reason, I can't, I can't copy and paste that. It won't let me do it. A link in the chat. I can't click on that for some reason. But that's the link. This is the link. I'll show it. This is the link to that video I was talking about with the guy from the United Arab Emirates. Go and check it out. Yeah, for some reason it won't let me click on that. No, it won't let me do it. Right, let's have a look in this. Let's see if I can do it in here. Here we go. This is it. This wasn't the one I was talking about, but this is close to it. Right, let's sound. Here we go. You see, let's explain that, right? I'm going to try and explain this to people. The Islamists don't view our tolerance of them as being a strength. They view it as a weakness. They think we're weak because they wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate that themselves. They wouldn't tolerate this level of demands. They wouldn't. So they see it as weakness. Okay. So that was that. So that's from the horse's mouth. This is from people that directly deal with the Muslim Brotherhood, that have lived with them for years. They know exactly what these people are like, and they're giving the warning saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Get rid of that. That's it. But yeah, scary, isn't it? I watched it, mate, and he fell at his spot on it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it didn't. I managed to click on it though, Steve. Thank you. They see it as weakness, and so they should. Liberalism, tolerance, and empathy has set this nation on a funeral pyre. Exactly. The thing is, right, tolerance has its place, but there needs to be a line drawn in tolerance, doesn't there? We haven't drawn that line. We just let these people make these demands constantly, even more extravagant demands every single time, and we pander to them. It's like a petulant child, isn't it? That if you don't draw the line with a child's demands, eventually they're just going to keep asking and asking for stuff, and you have to keep giving in. So what do parents do to a child that keeps on asking for stuff? It tells them no. Firmly, it says no, you're not having this. There needs to be that line drawn in tolerance, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bigoted, there's nothing xenophobic about saying that, because other countries do it around the world. There's not a single country around the world that would allow this level of activity from this group of people. They wouldn't. They'd be deported. They would instantly be deported. You couldn't make these demands in Iraq. They'd laugh at you. They would laugh at you. Because they would protect their culture, their heritage, and their traditions. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with protecting that. There's nothing wrong in this country from protecting our culture, our heritage, our traditions. There's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing xenophobic about that. There's nothing racist about that. There's nothing racist about having the St. George's Cross or the Union flag flying from every single lamppost in this country. This is our land. This is our land, and we will fight for it. I'm going on a bit of a rant now, so I'm getting angry. But yeah, we will defend it. We will defend this land just as they would, just as they defended their lands in Afghanistan, just as they defended their lands in Iraq. We will do exactly the same thing here. And why wouldn't we? We literally have thousands of years of history. We are tied to these lands. Our soul, our spirit is from this land. And we will defend it with our life's blood, as we defended it against the Nazis, as we defended it against every single threat that has ever threatened this country. It's that simple, isn't it? They need to understand this. They need to understand that our sick, weak government regime does not represent us, the people. We are not like them. We are far stronger. And yes, you can continue to whack the hornet's nest with a big stick. You can continue to poke the dog with a stick, but eventually you're going to get stung. Eventually you're going to get bit. I saw it on YouTube the other day. I saw it on X the other day, and it was right. It was saying, you know, you should be concerned when the people that just want to be left alone get involved. And that's people like me. I just want to be left alone. I want to be left alone to provide for my family and have a safe environment for them. This regime threatens that. They threaten my family's safety. They are the enemy. They have become the enemy. They have said they are the enemy. They've called me the enemy. They've said that if I'm against this national renewal, I'm the enemy of the regime. And I am against Starmer and everything that he stands for. So he called me the enemy. He called me the enemy. I didn't call him the enemy. He came out on that podium in that speech and declared half the country the enemy. That's not a regime that is looking for unity. That's authoritarianism. That's a regime looking for dominance. You're either with us or you're against us. That's an extremist point of view. That's an extremist ideology, which is what communism is. They're communists. Let's just blow it out the water and stop dancing around on eggshells and just call these people for what they are. They are communists. They are communists. Their intention is to utterly destroy this country. That's what they want to do. It's not incompetence. It's the managed decline of this country. They prove it at every single turn that this is what their intention is. Their intention is to destroy this country. No doubts about it in my mind whatsoever. I'm worried for my granddaughter and my little dog. I think everybody's worried. Everybody's worried. Yeah, I just want to watch history and building time. Exactly. None of us want civil war. We have to keep saying this. None of us want civil war. But they keep pushing us into this corner. They're painting us into this corner that we don't want to be in. So where eventually we have no choice but to go down that path. Yes, Chad, how long before they come for our kids and our dogs? Exactly. All by design by the globalists. All they want to break down the Western civilization. And let's face it, right? The World Economic Forum, Davos, has not exactly been secretive about what they want to do. They've been quite open about what they want to do to the West. They want a technocratic communism. They come out and said on stage at Davos, they've said that China is the model. Everything about China is the model. The social credit system. They want to return me and you to serfdom. So we're just peasants on the land that they can milk for tax. That's what they want to do, because ultimately they want power. That's what they want. That's what all this is about. Greed and power, money, influence. That's all these people have ever wanted. I heard they offer their services as a stand-in domestic army at a small fee. Then they're left to it until their numbers are bigger, all while getting into positions of power. Scream racism when kicked back. Exactly. Somebody earlier was talking about the Fabian Society. Yes. I'm going to try and find that in a bit. But as I was talking about my video this morning, 30 judges have been found to have links to refugee NGOs, non-government organisations. So they're politically biased. So if an illegal immigrant comes into their court on crimes, they're lenient on them because of their political leanings. If another person comes into their court that is against illegal immigrants, they're unproportionately harsh on them because of their political beliefs. It's a two-tier system. We know this. It's important to expose the Islamification of the UK, but our main focus should be on globalist communist state who is encouraging the Islamification. This is the parallels, though, isn't it? These are the parallels between Iran and this country. The regime change in Iran, because the communists and the Islamists formed an alliance, just like we're seeing in this country now. We're seeing Antifa and the Islamists working together to push their cause. The same thing is happening in this country. They're taking over the universities, which is exactly what happened in Iran. They're taking over the universities. It's been happening for decades. This far left ideology, identity politics. It's to destroy society. That's what its intention is. Identity politics has nothing to do with equality or unity. It's about dividing society up and pitting different groups of people against each other, because a united society is dangerous. So that's why they attack it. That's why they've attacked community. They've destroyed communities. It's why they attack the nuclear family, because those things represent strength. And I have to keep echoing it. I really do. We need to build community. And it's not hard. It's not hard to build community. It's just a case of getting to know the people around you and offering your support. That's all it is. We've got to think like the Musketeer motto, isn't it? All for one and one for all. That's what our community should be. That's what we need to build on. That's where we get our strengths from. Strength comes from community. I saw that a couple of weeks ago at the protest in Unston, in Chesterfield. The locals came out in force. They unified. They came out. It was their voice in defense of their community. And that's what needs to happen more and more in this country. Strength in numbers. Finn, I do not recognise their laws or their judges or judiciary or the police authority. None of it. And I don't think many people do anymore, Stefan. I think a lot of people have rejected that now. The police are vastly losing their mandate to police by consent. They simply don't have it anymore. Public opinion and public faith in the police has gone. Absolutely gone. I appreciate you all talking about the problems, but we are huddling in the stream corner to hide from the future. Are we going to talk solutions? So what is your solution? What's your solutions to the problems? Because I ask this of people when they come, because I know you're not doing this, but some people, they come to my comment sections and they try to muddy the waters. They say, that won't work. You can't do that. That's never going to work. And then I ask them, say, okay, fair enough. I hear your point, but offer up a differing opinion. Offer up another solution to the problem. So I have to say this to you, truth is our reality. What solutions do you have? Let's hear your solutions. I agree 100%. Community is the way forward. Definitely. It always has been. That's always been our strength, community. Do what the Americans are doing now. Yep. I never said you did. I actually said that. I said I know that's not what you're doing. Go back and listen to what I said. I didn't say that you're muddying anything. I said some people have. I did not muddy anything, friend, but I do know that talk about the problem solves nothing. So what are your solutions? What are your solutions? There's no point coming to a live stream and saying, oh, you're all talking, you're not coming up with any solutions. What are your solutions to these problems? You can't ask of others what you're not prepared to ask of yourself. I'm blocked again. 2 messages not shown. You're not blocked. We can see it. It's just YouTube will remove them if they're a bit spicy or they have words in. No, but you're coming to the live stream and you're asking other people, saying, oh, all you're doing is talking, but you've got no solutions yourself. Again, it's this thing where people wait around for other people to come up with the solutions. It's like, where are your solutions? You can't just sit around and rely on other people to come up with solutions to your problems, because they are your problems. They're everybody's problems. Yeah? You are. You're in the chat. You're in the chat talking about it. You've come to this live stream. You've like asked. You've said to people, "Oh, all you're doing is talking." Well, all you're doing is talking. Where's your solutions? Where are your solutions? Yeah, you see, this happens every time. This happens every time. People come in and ask and say, all you're doing is talking. You've got no solutions, and it's like you've got no solutions either. No, you can take offense. Don't take offense. I'm just calling you out on it, though. I will call you out on it. It's like, don't come into the live stream and, criticize other people for talking about stuff. And then you talk about saying, well, you've got no solutions. And then you've got no solutions yourself. There you go. This is what we're up against, though. People like this. People like this will come and say, well, you've got no solutions. What are you doing about it? It's like, well, what are you doing? Where are your solutions in all of this? Vindicator spreads the word on his channel and attends protests on his own, facing down Antifa. Exactly. People just need, I can't say this enough, right? People need to realize the power they have themselves, because you have a lot of power. You people have a lot of power, you just don't realize it. You've been told for years that you're powerless. You're not. You're not powerless at all. You carry a hell of a lot of power. You carry a lot of power on your own. But when you form groups and communities, you have even more power. And that's what they fear. That's why they've been telling you for decades that you don't have agency, you don't have power. You just have to accept what's been. You don't have to accept anything. You don't have to accept anything. All you have to do is take a stand your ground, and fight back. That's what you have to do. And if it means going to protests, if it means, writing to your local MP, it's all pushing back. It's all good. It's all doing something. Yeah? Don't believe for a second there's nothing you can't do and you're powerless. You're not powerless. None of you are powerless. Trouble is, enough people like us, maybe 20% of the population, youngsters are more interested in football. No, I've seen lots of youngsters at protests. I don't believe that's true. But you're one of our big problems is people do not understand what left and right is anymore. The bad man from World War II was left wing. All of them. Yes, they were. Yes, he was. Our youth have seen the effects. They're starting to wake up to the fact that pretty soon they're not going to be able to get a house. Now, at the moment, there's not a single young person out there that can afford to buy a house on their wages. And it's getting to the point now where young people can't even rent a property now because there simply aren't enough. There's not enough social housing. There's not enough private rented properties out there now. So this is directly affecting young people, and they're getting more political, and that's a good thing. It really is. Look at all these young people that are organising protests and stuff that we see up and coming. That's a good thing. Part of this challenge is about talking through the solutions, and in my view, that's exactly what we've been doing. Exactly, we have. But I don't like it, Nicola, when we have people come into the chat and they say, well, but what are your solutions? Where are your solutions? You're not talking about solutions. All you're doing is talking. And then when I ask them and I say, well, where are yours? Where are your solutions? And then they can't post any because they haven't got any. So why criticise others? That's what I don't get. At least I offer up solutions. We've offered up solutions in this very podcast live stream. Myself and Tom, we've said repeatedly a national strike. That's a solution. Building community, supporting each other, spreading the word, galvanising is power. Exactly. But Raina said there's plenty of housing. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. I think we should protest on the beaches down at Dover, strike at the heart of the matter. Well, funny you should say that, because I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm working on a project for next year. I can't do it this year because the channel isn't big enough yet. There's not enough funds to actually do it yet. But what I'm actually getting a team together to go and actually patrol the beaches down at Dover, because a lot of people don't actually realise that the boats that the border force escort in, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are literally many more dinghies that make landfall that don't get escorted in by the border force, that make landfall, that just disappear into our society. So my intention is to make a mini documentary, go down there with a team. I'm putting that team together now, and patrol the beaches and then report any activity that we see. That's our main goal. It's actually do something, not just talk about it. Go down there and do something. That's what we want to do. That's the plan. And I've got a whole host of projects coming up. I really, at some point, I'm going down to help Tom Generation X. Go subscribe to that guy. Awesome guy. He talks a lot of sense. I'm going down there to help him finish off his documentary that he's been doing. There's lots of things coming up on this channel. It's not just going to be me sat behind a computer screen talking about stuff. I want to be out there and doing stuff and helping this country, raising awareness, doing something, getting off my arse, putting boots on the ground, and actually physically doing something to help this country. That's what I want to do. That's the goal of this channel anyway. That's what needs to happen. Yeah, exactly. Do not donate to those people. Genuine question. What would we want for a national strike? Immediate general election. Yeah, basically just force the Starmer regime out of office. Not just a change of prime minister. We want them out of office. There's not a single person within the Labour Party that could save this country. They've got no inclination to do that. They're ideology driven, far left, Marxist, ideology driven. There's not a single person within that party that wants to or can save this country. So a complete change of government. That's what we want from the strike. Get them out. Immediate general election. That's what we want. Dover, a sterile area, you wouldn't get close. Oh, I can't go into certain things, but yeah, we can. We can, trust me, we can. People think Dover the port. People think Dover the port when talking about these matters. No, I'm not talking about Dover the port. I'm talking about areas near there. But I can't go into that for obvious reasons. Wake up, do you see the logic of a national strike? Defund the state. You must realise this will work. It's called a collective. They will have to answer. Exactly. They can't ignore a national strike. You can ignore a protest. You can ignore a petition. But a national strike that shuts down the whole country, that's not going away anytime soon. And like me and Steve have been saying, me and Tom have been saying, it would only take probably 3 or 4 days to bring this government to its knees. It really would. It wouldn't take long at all. At the lodger, would you give them a steam? I'll give them a steam on this. Yeah. Seen that one. I won't watch fake patriot YouTube channels where the owner just talks in his studio and doesn't attend protests. Exactly. I've had to do that myself. There's a lot of channels that I watch, bigger channels, that just go around in circles. They just talk about the same stuff over and over again, and they don't even offer up any solutions themselves. It's just they just talk about the situation. Very middle class to upper middle class, very stiff upper lip type channels, if you know what I mean. And it's not offering anything of any value, really. They just talk. How could we meet up as a community? As it would be, I'd be up for that. Well, there is one thing we could do, and I've been thinking about this for some time. I actually want to meet some of you guys. I really do. So every May in Chesterfield, there's a May Day gala, which is basically just a communist. It's just a communist get together. So what I thought we could all do is, if people were interested, is we could all get together at this May Day gala, and we could all go and counter protest them for a change and give a bit of pushback that way. That would be interesting. That would be a great meetup, I think. People have to let me know, see what they think about that. Oh, you mean them ones who say I have divided loyalty? I don't know what that's about. The French authorities are funding the crossings to get rid of them with the collaboration of the rural. Yeah. Exactly. And let's not forget, the last one, I had my phone stolen. They snatched my phone. So it would be very interesting, wouldn't it? I'm up for that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Great stream. I've shared and liked. If the police and other ones join strike, it would work. I don't think the police are going to join the strike. I don't think they'll join. It would work. But a large part of the workforce and shop sector are foreign. And as I said during COVID, they kept it afloat. Yeah. But it would be key infrastructure. So you would have warehouses. You would have logistics, like even the farmers could play the part. Yeah. Don't discuss anything near a smartphone in rooms, etc. face to face. Need to know basis. Yeah, okay. I actually got called. This was interesting the other day. Somebody in the chat called me a prepper and was actually laughing. And it's like, what's wrong about that? You know, I'm not a prepper, but I am prepared. I'm always prepared. I'm prepared for anything. And I think some people don't realise how close we are to societal collapse in this country. They just don't get it at all. Really don't. Yeah, farmers are awesome. They gridlock places. Yeah. There should have been a team up between the Patriot movement and the farmers by now. Really should have been. I think to some extent there's been some reform influence in that sort of thing. Lorry drivers will be good too. Yeah, exactly. The main retail hubs are hard by motorway, so can be blocked by gridlock. Yep. Tommy is good at organising. Look at him at all the defence leagues for all the areas he set up. Could do with something similar. We've been saying this. We need to get these people involved. You know, Tommy's rallies are awesome and all that kind of thing. And, you know, nobody can deny that he hasn't sacrificed for the Patriot movement. But I think he needs to be talking more about passive resistance now than just protests, because, yeah, the United Kingdom rally sent shockwaves through the political class. It did. Nobody can deny that. It sent shockwaves, because look at their response to it. They were responding to weeks. It was weeks they were responding to it. That scared them. That really scared them, because for the first time they saw that they were a minority. They really did. They believed their own hype, and that bubble was shattered on September the 3rd, on Saturday, September the 13th, because they realised that no, you're not a majority. You're actually a minority. And the people in London that day, that was just the tip of the iceberg. All the people watching online, all the people around the country that were doing their own protests on that day. It did send shockwaves. But now we need to move to the next stage, which is passive resistance to this. Need to actually take action. I think the there's a guy on Twitter called the Great British Strike, and I think he's trying his best to organise a strike. So everybody should just get behind him. Really, actually, let's go and see if we can find him. Stop sharing that now. I'll see if I can go and find him on X, and I'll show you him so we can find him. It's worth looking at him. It's worth getting behind all these people. I'm gonna show you some people to get behind. I've also got some announcements to make in a bit about a protest that's happening tonight, 6 o'clock at Ilkeston. I'll get into that in a bit though. Right. First up, hang on. Right, search. Where's search? Let's have a look. Search. Here we go. Right. Here we go. I want you to all go and sub to this guy. Go and follow him on Twitter. He's great. He's been in my live streams a few times. I'll share his stuff in here. But he's been on my live streams a few times. He had his channel hit. He has 18,000 subscribers on his channel, but his channel's been absolutely quarantined. He doesn't get half the traffic he should do to his channel. So go and give him some love. Go and encourage him to start making content and do his live streams. He is doing that again now, but everybody needs encouragement. Everybody needs to get behind him. They really do. Here he is. This is him. This is John. This is, Tom, Generation X. Go follow him. He talks a lot of sense. He really does. Like I said, he's been on live stream a few times, and there's links to his YouTube channel here as well. Go follow him. Go support him. He's a great guy. Who else was I talking about? What else was I looking at? Oh yeah, I know. I was looking at as well. Great British. I think that's it. I'm not sure. Could be. Let's have a look. This is it. This is him. Right, go follow this guy as well. He's got 34.8 thousand viewers. But this is a guy. He's trying to organise a national strike as well. He's had a few protests. This is the guy. He's done a few protests down at Dover and that kind of thing. Go follow him as well. These are the people that we need to be getting behind. We really do, because these are the people that are boots on the ground trying to make a difference. So we need to get behind all of these people. We really do. They're doing great work. So it's the Great British National Strike. I'm not actually following. I was following. I'm not following. Weird. Right, go and follow him. He's awesome. I'm just having a look at the chat. Right, we've got some other announcements to make. We're going to have a look at some of this. Stop sharing. Just need to get on here. Right. Right, so look at this. Right. I will share it in a minute. I want to make some announcements as well. I need to share the screen. Here we go. Right, okay, so this is from Annie Red 666. Ilkeston Town Hall this evening, RE, Best Western at Long Eaton. Start assembling around 6 p.m. So that's Ilkeston Town Hall. They're doing a protest outside the town hall tonight. So if you're in that area, go and give these people some support. Go and give them some love and help them out. So like I said, we are the resistance now. We are the resistance. And this is how we've got to do all this stuff now. It really is. Right. In my opinion, the Great British Strike and national protests are great because they are in town centres where local people should see it. Exactly. This is what needs to happen now. We need to shift our tactics. If the illegal immigrant hotels, if they're putting restrictions against them because of the hotels, just simply move your protest to the town centres and make people aware of what is going on. We don't need to be outside the illegal immigrant hotels anymore. You need to take their weapons off the table. So the weapon of the police is the Section 14 dispersal order and all those dispersal order general, isn't it? That's what they use. But if you're in the town centre, they can't really disperse you, really, can they? Unless you're causing a nuisance. But just take all their weapons off the table. You've got to match your tactics to theirs. Then believe Tommy Robinson was an actor of sorts for the opposition. Someone that isn't genuine. I've never said that. I've literally never said that. So I don't know where you've got that from. Lloyd not food supply, remember. Mass silent march would be a great idea. Yeah, exactly. Dino Bain was in one of my live streams once, as in one of his live streams actually, I think it was, yeah. And he came up with a brilliant idea. A slow march from Scotland down to Land's End. A rolling march, a rolling protest, where people could join the protest at different towns and cities along the way to keep the protest going. That's another great optics, because it's going from town to town, spreading the word. That would be great. That would be an absolute amazing idea. Not my idea, that was Dino Bain's. But yeah, it's a great idea. I've never heard Vince say that. No, I've never said that at all. No, I've never said that. No. If anything, I've only ever come out in support of Tommy Robinson. They can disperse you under Section 14 and did it last night at King's Cross during the pro-Pally. I thought, yeah. Finn, what did you think the next step is to to get the country back? Like I said, I've already mentioned it. It's the national strike. That's the next step. We need to build on that though. Capitalise on the United Kingdom rally, because that had great momentum, and that momentum needs to be kept going. So I would say organise protests up and down the country, peaceful protests up and down the country, in every town, city and village. Get behind the Raise the Flag campaign. Raise the flag. Have a flag on every lamppost in the country. That's what needs to happen. Go watch Young Bob and CP Reports. But yeah, right, so look, so if there's anything else I want to talk about. I was going to talk about those judges actually. We'll see if I can find them. See if I can find right there. See if I can find it. So yeah, this is Robert Jenrick that came out with it. Now, before we get into it, I don't have any faith in the Conservatives. I don't trust Robert Jenrick as far as I could throw him. But I'm only showing him because he's highlighting an issue in this country. That's all. I don't believe him for 1 second that he's the savior of this country at all. I don't think the Conservatives are. I don't think Labour. I don't think we've got any particular party that can save us at the minute, to be honest with you. It's just my opinion. So I want everybody to look at this, because this is very telling. This is what I was talking about earlier. So as you can see, Robert Jenrick, I've uncovered over 30 immigration judges with links to open borders charities. It is now beyond any doubt that deep rot has infected parts of our judiciary. And we know this. We know this, don't we?
Our country has some of the best lawyers, barristers, and judges of anywhere in the world. But we have a problem. There's a small minority of judges with links to political causes. that are compromising.
Yeah, I don't think it's a minority. I think it's a huge proportion of them. I think we've got a huge amount of political judges in this country, both in criminal and in other forms of the judiciary.
Compromising the independence of the judiciary. Until now,
yeah, the judiciary is definitely not independent at this minute. It's aligned with the government. So are the police. That they're supposed to be checks and balances in place to stop the CPS, to stop the police, to stop the government and the judiciary all aligning together. They're separate entities for a reason, but they're not separate anymore. They're linked by ideology, and that ideology is Marxism, the Fabian Society.
they've been kept a secret. But the research conducted by my team and I have uncovered it. And what I'm about to tell you will shock you. Over 30 immigration judges who sit in courts and tribunals like this one have links to Open Borders charities. And these are the men and women who get to decide who stays and who goes. And the public will rightly be asking, how independent are they? Let me give you an example. Before his appointment, Judge Symes volunteered for bail for immigration detainees. Even after his appointment, he takes public positions on social media on illegal migration proposals. And he even advertises his judicial office to drum up business for his immigration advisory services. Or take Judge Heaven. She spent 5 years before she became a judge volunteering for bail for immigration detainees. And even after becoming a judge, she took to social media to celebrate the defeat of the government's Rwanda plan. These people should have no place in our justice system. But my research has shown these are not isolated.
Yeah, I would say personally, any judge that has links to any sort of left-wing ideology shouldn't be in the judiciary. They shouldn't be. You can't be politically biased and be a judge, because that will always influence your decisions. Justice is supposed to be blind, isn't it? Why we've got the same problem that America has had with activist judges, and we've got the same problem here in this country. They need to be sacked and turfed out of the judiciary. Same with the police force. A complete overhaul of the police force is needed, where we go through every single officer. The ones that don't meet the standard get booted out. Anybody that has any sort of political bias and is influencing their decisions, kicked out of the force. Same with the police chiefs. Every single rank should be scrutinised, and if they are found to have any sort of political affiliation, either side, either right wing or left wing, they should be booted out of the police service. We need a neutral, impartial police force to police this country. That's what we need. And it's the same with the judiciary. They need to be gone.
Isolated examples. The line between adjudication and activism is being blurred every day. If judges want to step into the political space, they should staff a parliament. It's time for transparency and for reform, so the public can have confidence that their judges are truly independent.
Like I said, I don't believe a word this guy says. He's just highlighting it. I don't align with him on his policies. Recently, he said some controversial things about there not being many white faces. I think it was in Birmingham, and he got called up on it, and he was immediately weak. He started talking about unity and how good we must unify and all this kind of shit. So I don't put any faith in the Conservative Party one little bit. They've deservedly been destroyed, and they deserve to be consigned to the political abyss, as far as I'm concerned. Same with the Labour Party, same with the Liberal Democrats, same with the Green Party. And any far left party that's in Parliament needs to be chucked into the political abyss, because they don't benefit this country. They really don't. So I'm going to try again. The thing is, if you're a citizen or a member of the public, you're under their jurisdiction. We must get away from this as soon as possible. I'm from England. I'm English, not a citizen. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. It's the Acts of Union, isn't it? It's the abolishment of nationality, where on any form, that if you look on any form, I deliberately write on every form, I write English. I don't put British, I put English, because I'm from England. British is my collective identity. English is my nationality. That's the way I look at it. 100%, yeah, definitely. The judges are sinister a lot. It's dystopian, it is. Let me ask you, if the area you live, have you noticed any illegals creeping about? Oh, yes, I have. You know, if you've watched any of my protest videos, you'll notice them. We've got an illegal immigrant hotel in Chesterfield. You know, I said this in a live stream that I used to do security in the town centre, and I was frequently called to remove these people from shops because they weren't buying anything. They were just lurking in a corner, just staring at the young girls that used to do Saturday jobs in the clothes shops. They wouldn't buy anything. They go in there and they just look at them creepily, making them feel uncomfortable. So I used to have to ask them to leave. So yeah, I have noticed them. As I said, I think there's only one way this is going to end. Nobody wants civil war, but unless his next national strike march and the numbers of Tommy's rally were pissing in the wind, quite frankly. I think a lot of people think that way. Now, these rallies are great for making a political statement, but at the end of the day, all they're really any good for is networking. You know, I've said this before, I'm not trying to knock what Tommy has done. Obviously, what he's achieved is amazing. But when you go down to a rally on a Saturday and protest outside the House of Parliament, you're protesting to an empty building. That's just fact. That's reality. There needs to be more to be critical, to be a bit constructive and critical of Tommy. He needs to capitalise more on the momentum of these protests after the fact, because that's where the true power comes from. It's the momentum afterwards, after the protest, to capitalise on that. I said to Tom, Generation X, today, what would be a great idea would be that after you've done one of these massive rallies in London, we'll take it on the road, do a smaller streamed down version, like a roadshow, like Nick Tenconi's doing, and go from town to town, village to village, city to city, with a roadshow type version of it, and keep that momentum going throughout the country. That's what needs to happen. Thanks for answering, Vin. I've noticed a lot of these illegals have been given security guard roles. Yep, they have. Vindicate again. When do you think, what will be the best time? I would say, and I've said this before, I reckon the best time for the national strike will be straight after the budget, because that budget is going to be devastating to this country. They've run out of our money. That's why they've delayed it. They've run out of our money. They're going to squeeze every British citizen for every single penny they've got. It's going to be an absolute demon of a budget. They're going to raise taxes through the roof. They're already talking about, I think Steve was talking about this the other day, is it a 25% increase on fuel duty? Something like, was it 9p, something like that? Anyway, I can't remember what it was. But that is going to put a lot of small businesses out of business because they won't be able to afford it. Bigger businesses are struggling. Bigger businesses are struggling. So you can only imagine what the little family-run businesses are feeling. You know, we've got big warehouses that I've heard have actually cut shifts to reduce their energy costs. So it's definitely having a knock-on effect already. And this budget is probably just going to knock a lot of people out. It really is. Thanks for calling in, Lloyd. Brilliant. Thanks for calling in, mate. Yeah, I think there's a lot of nervous sphincters around this budget that's about to hit. You know, how much more money can they take off the average worker? What is it now? Is it 70% they take off people, their wages? There we go, Steve. Right, okay. I said 25% VAT rate and 9 to 15p on fuel tax. That's massive. That's the difference between a small delivery firm or whatever operating and not operating, isn't it? You won't see them tighten their belts, though. No, you won't. They just rely on their massive expense accounts, like Toby Perkins did during the lockdown when he put all of his... Toby Perkins, by the way, is the MP for Chesterfield. And during lockdown, that scumbag put his household bills on his parliamentary expense account because he claimed he was working from home. While me and you were all struggling with our bills and stuff because some of us have been put on furlough, some of us have been made redundant. I got made redundant and struggling to pay bills and rent and stuff. That scumbag put all his bills on his expense account. Biggest scroungers out there. They always talk about, you know what, right-wing commentators always talk about people on benefits and stuff like that. And yeah, they have a point. There are some scroungers out there. But the biggest scroungers in the country are the MPs. They are. Biggest scroungers out there is our political class. Because they virtually do nothing for the money. They don't do anything. What do? They turn up in the House of Parliament, have a pantomime conversation where they jeer at each other, and then they just go home. And for that privilege, they get 100 grand a year and an expense account, a massive expense account. We're mugs. We're absolute mugs in this country. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Another Steve's in. Yes, Tommy has an important role, but after every rally, he leaves it too long until the next one. They need to be a national protest. Britain first have a march in Manchester very soon. Yeah, exactly. The momentum behind those massive protests needs to be capitalised on more, to give it more momentum, to give it more of a punch, to carry it on going. I mean, we call the pro-Palestine rallies, don't we? But you've got to admit they've been effective because they've been done every single weekend in every single city. They've not stopped. And if we can learn anything from them, it will be that you need to keep the momentum going. You need to be having the protests going in every town and city up and down the country. So I was talking about this before, right? And I'm not having a go, right? All I'm saying is, I think people are constantly looking for a saviour to come and save them when the saviour is sat in their living room right now. It's you. It's you watching this live stream. You're the saviour. You're the hero in your own story right now. And I was talking about this earlier in the live stream. People have more power than they could possibly imagine. They do. They really do. And that's why the government fears the people united, because a united population is extremely dangerous to them. They can't go against a united population. They can't. There's just too few of them. There's 649 of them. I exclude Rupert Lowe in that because he's probably the only decent MP in Parliament at the minute. But there's 649 of them against what? 70 million people in this country. They're heavily outnumbered. And when the people realise that we have more power than they do, because the only power these people have in Parliament is the power that we give to them. Same with the police, same with the judiciary. The only power they have is the power we choose to give to them. And we can choose to take that power back at any time. We can. Exactly. We all become Cromwell. This is a time when we need leaders. We need more leaders than ever. We really do. Community leaders. And seriously, you don't want a messiah. No, you don't want your attention focused on one single person. Vin, when I done an essay course years ago, they pretty much just gave the answers. Imagine how easy the Liberals get it. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit harder now. I've found that the government-run essay license schemes are a lot easier than the independent ones. The government ones, yeah, they basically give you the answers, because the companies that run the training courses for the government, they get paid per person that passes the course. So it's in their best interest that everybody on that course passes. And I've seen it myself. They do give out the answers sometimes, and it's like, that's not helping anything because you're just letting a shower of shit through the filter. So yeah, I've witnessed it myself. Totally right with that. Yeah, it's not like that someone is coming out of the smoke to help us, like in the movies. No, it's not like that at all. We've got to help ourselves. even the littlest thing is helping. It really is. You know, for those that can't get out and about, and I've got quite a few of them that are bedbound that watch my channel, it's as simple as just watching a video like this or watching a live stream like this, clicking the like button, sharing it. It's as easy that everybody can help. Everybody can help to get the word about. And that's a subtle hint for you all to like this stream and share it. Yeah, get the word out. That's the most important thing at the minute. Get the word out there. So yeah. Right, we're on the hour 25 minute. I think I've run out of things to say, and my nose is blocked and my throat is sore. So I'm going to end it here, guys. Thanks for coming along. Don't forget that protest in Ilkeston tonight. It's at the Ilkeston Town Hall. Let me have a look, see where it is. Where is it? Yeah, it's at Ilkeston Town Hall this evening. RE Best Western at Long Eaton. Start assembling around about 6 o'clock. So if you're in the area, go give those people some support. So look at this. Virginia Woolf. Did you see the film Chesterfield Stand Up to Racism released after Sandpiper Demo? Oh no, I didn't see that at all. Is that worth me doing a live stream sometime and watching it and going through it? Shall I do that? Is it on YouTube? Because that would be amazing. We could go through it together and watch it together, couldn't we? That'd be a great live stream to do something like that. Probably get Tom in for that one. Yeah, that would be amazing. It would, wouldn't it? Yeah, have you got the link to it? After the stream's finished, post the link in the comment section to this video so I can go and take a look at it. Don't post it in the chat, post it after. It's on Instagram, thousands of likes and shares on it. Well, it will be because it's worldwide, isn't it? It's not countrywide. Actually, can you post the link now? We'll have a look at it. Before we go, we'll have a look. We'll have a look at it. That could be quite fun. Might be worth finishing on that. Is it very long? I'll tell you what. If you can post the link into the comment sections of this live stream, the next live stream I'll do, we'll go and take a look at it. Yeah? Because my throat... 2 minutes... Oh, if it's 2 minutes in length, just post it in the chat. We'll have a look at it. Yeah, post it in the chat here and I'll click on it and we'll go and have a look at it. We've got to do this, haven't we, guys? We've got to do it. Let's have a look. Definitely, let's do it. Whitechapel from 5 p.m. Right, definitely do that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a link and we'll click on it. That's going to be amazing. I mean, they were there for hours and they could only manage to scrape together a 2-minute video. I wonder if your comment on the Village Idiots has a comment on the Village Idiots, yeah. I had to get that one in, Steve. I had to get that one in. Right. Have you, see if you've posted it. Has it been posted yet? Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to take a look. Come on, Virginia Woolf. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't think people have actually heard that when I said that. When I shouted to them, you know, it's okay. We've alerted all your villagers that you're all here. All the villagers are here. Yeah. Funnily enough, I just watched it last night, and watching it in these times, it's more like a documentary rather than a movie. Obviously, that's where the V comes from here. It's the V for Vendetta sign. It's a symbol of the channel. So yeah, awesome movie, by the way. If you've never watched V for Vendetta, go and watch it, because it's basically a social commentary of the times that we're in now. It really is. Just post it into the chat. Just post it as a comment, and I'll be able to click on the link, and I'll be able to take us to it. Just copy and paste it, and just drop it in the chat. It's an awesome film. I recommend everybody watch it. It's an amazing film. Post it through. Yeah, unfortunately, I think YouTube. Let me go see if I can find it. What's the title called? Because it'll be on probably X as well. What's the title of the video that they posted? Because they post it everywhere. Yeah, it's most likely YouTube blocking the link. They don't like some links from certain places. It was when the lefties went quiet where you said it. It was funny though, wasn't it? Yeah, but what's the title? What's the video actually called? Actually, I'll go and take a look at it. I'll go and see if I can find it on X, and we'll have a look at it. There might be a longer version on X actually. Right, let's go and have a look. I've got to do it now before we go. Just have a look and see what they've actually said. Stand up to. Nice. Right, let's see if we can find it. Plenty on that. Can't actually see it anywhere on here. It's just. They probably don't post it on X because they know they get lots of pushback. And I haven't got an Instagram account. So what I'll have to do, I will have to look for it somewhere. We'll have to do it in the next stream. I'll find it out and we'll do it in the next stream. I can't find it on there. Right. See if it's actually posted in the chat. No, it's been removed. It will have been removed by YouTube. It's a shame. I would like to have looked at that. Right, guys. Having said that, so look at this. Yes, it is. It's called Lefties Go and Have a Bath. Yeah. Good one. Okay, it's worth its own video, I felt. Yeah. I'll definitely try and find it and get it on. Could be on Facebook. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll try and find it and get the links to it and find it out, and we'll cover it in the next live stream. Yeah, that's a promise. Right, so don't forget tonight, if you're near Ilkeston Town Hall this evening, Best Western at Long Eaton start assembling around 6 p.m. They're doing a protest there about the illegal immigrant hotel. Go give them some support. Don't forget to go and subscribe to Tom, Generation X. Go look him up. And the Great British National Strike. Go and follow those people. These are people that are actually boots on the ground and actually doing stuff. So go and support them. Thanks for coming to the live stream, guys. Really enjoyed it. Love interacting with you people. I would next time I'll ask people to come in again. My throat is so sore and my nose is blocked that thanks. Really appreciate it. Really do. Thanks for being everyone. Always enjoy these lives. Thank you. It's great. Love having everybody in here. Me too. I'm looking forward to it too. Yeah, always a great conversation. And you guys need to start coming to my live streams though. You need to start coming in. You don't have to show your faces. You can just come in and have a chat. Yeah. Right, guys. I shall see you all soon. This is Vindicator. Sign off. Thanks, everybody.